Today we're going to look at creating a series Bible in Plottr for a series of books that I've already written and would like to have a detailed series Bible before I start writing the next book in the series. So this is going to be using my Moreau Society series of books, and we're going to jump right into Plottr. And in this video we're going to set up the Plottr file for the series Bible. And we'll get those initial things set up, and then later I'll talk about the next videos in the series as we go, what we're going to cover, and you can learn a lot about Plottr and creating a series Bible for your books. So let's get started. We're going to launch Plottr here, and in the dashboard here you have your account information, backup, settings, all that stuff, and recent projects. We want to create a blank project. You could create a project from a template or import files, but we're going to create a blank one to serve as our series Bible. And so I'm going to call this Moreau Society. And that's going to open up another window for that series Bible. Placing the document on the table. All right, so here we are in the main timeline, and I'm extremely likely to recommend it. But I'm not going to actually send that right now. Okay, so we're in the main timeline window, and right now it's just showing Moreau Society. So this is the same window that you'll see in your outline for a book, but we want to start with the series Bible. So I want to click up here where it says Moreau Society, and I want to go to Series View. And so now, didn't really change a whole lot on this screen. We're still in a timeline, but now we're in the series view. So this would be like a timeline for the whole series, an overview of what was going on in the series. So that's helpful. But we're going to just start by setting up our series project. So we're going to click on project. You can see here we have our series. You can fill in this information if you want. I'm just going to say this is science fiction. And in this series, set on the far future world of Belinda, Detective Brock Marston uses alien technology to alter his DNA, giving him enhanced abilities which he uses to solve crimes. Alright, and I'll just save that. And now down here we have our books. So the first book isn't called Moreau Society, it's called Dark Matters. So I'm going to rename that. And so book number 1 here is Dark Matters. And in this one, the premise is Brock tracks a deadly killer. And this is science fiction. And I could click Save and Open right here, and that would open up the timeline for Dark Matters and get started on that book. But we're going to set up the whole series first in this video. So I'm just going to click Save. And now we have book 1 showing as Dark Matters. And I want to set the image for that cover. So I'm going to click here. You can add things to your image gallery. You can upload files or insert from a URL. And I'm just going to do that. I'm going to pop over to my store And right here we have on the front the books in this series. There's a series bundle for the first 4 books for $16.99, and if you use the link down in the description of this video, you can pick up Dark Matters for $1.99 just through that link. Or you can pick up the whole series in ebook for $16.99. And you might want to do that as we go along through this series of videos if you want a chance to read the books first without spoilers, because as we get into the next videos in this series, it's gonna give away a lot because we're going to be looking at these books to create that series Bible in detail. But in this video there aren't any spoilers, so you can check out the books if you haven't read them already, if you want to, and do that. But right now what I want is just the image address for the cover, and I'm going to pop back over to Plottr and paste in that URL. And so it's going to pull that from my website, and I'm going to rename this to Dark Matters, and then I will click choose because that's the one I want. And so now I have a cover on that book. Not necessary, but if you want to, it's a nice thing to be able to add it there. All right, so we're still setting up this series. I want to create the other books in the series. You could click on Start with a Template and choose a built-in template. You could add your own templates, but I'm going to just create a blank one because I'm just going to outline the books. They're already written. I'm just going to go through them that way. So the second book in the series is The Gingerbread House. Premise: killer holds the entire planet hostage. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to click on the image link there, go to Insert from URL, and I can just go down here and grab the image address for the gingerbread house. Paste that in there. Now, if the gingerbread house sounds like an odd title, the moons of Valindia are named Hansel and Gretel. So, but the gingerbread house itself is an artificial construct in orbit. Sorry, little detail. So I'm gonna rename that, choose that, and now we have a book for the gingerbread house. And I'm gonna go ahead and add the next 2 books in the series, starting with Past Lives. Brock's past catches up with him. Literally. Yeah, I mean, I could. The series Bible's for your own use, so you can phrase it however you want. And I'm going to click the save there, and same thing, insert from URL, pop over. I want Past Lives there, and we'll let that grab the image. Again, rename this one. You don't have to rename it. Whoop. Didn't want to do that. Back to Plottr. There we go. You don't have to rename it, but I prefer that than the string of characters it generates. And we're gonna choose that. So now we've got book 3. Let's add book 4. Past Dark. Brock and friends try to escape the past. Science fiction. And once again, we're going to grab the URL for Past Dark. This is really nice to be able to set up the series this quickly. However, oops, clicked away from that. If I had been smart, I probably would have outlined each as I went through the series, and I would already have a series Bible. Since I'm not that smart, you can follow along and learn how to use Plottr and create a series Bible as well. All right, let's choose that one. So these are the 4 books that are out. I'm going to go ahead and create another book here for the 5th book, which is Synthetic Pain. How about we just call this Enemy? Alright. And click Save. Okay. I don't have a cover yet for Synthetic Pain. And for its launch next year, I'm actually going to be creating original covers for all of the previous 4 books. But that won't be for a while yet. Since Synthetic Pain, the first draft is written, I just need to go through it again. Okay, so now we have all of our books, and if we go back up here to the drop down in the corner, you can see them all listed here. So we can be in the series view, and we could outline the timeline. So if we wanted, we could create chapter headings for each of the books. We could create scene cards in each and kind of build out the timeline of the series. Maybe I just want this one to be overview. But you can also create additional plot lines. So we could say Brock's story arc. And you can tag scene cards with characters and places and other tags and stuff. And so you can look at this in a whole lot of different ways. And we'll get into all the details of the timeline when we start outlining the first book. And I'll mention over here where it says structure, you can click that and you can configure your timeline structure. So you have a lot of options. You can add different levels. You can change what they're called, formatting, all of that. So if you look here, there's default. You need at least 2 to view as tabs, or you can stack the view. So if we created additional levels, so if you want to have like an act, scene, beat sort of structure, you can set all that up. And if you use some of the templates, that'll already be created. But it gives you a lot of options that way to configure the structure and how it looks. You can search, view different sizes, look at attributes and all this other stuff. So we'll get into all that in the next videos in this series. So this first one, I wanted to get in here and create the main series project and files for each book. So if we click over to Dark Matters, now we're on the timeline specifically for that book, and so on for the rest of them. And if we want to see the series, we can see all the books here, and you can click on them just to jump to that specific one. Notice when I click back on project, I can see all of these and whatnot, but I'm still on past lives. So if I want to make changes to the series thing, I can be in that one. And we'll look at in the next videos how to go through some of these other views, like the outline view. You can filter by plot lines. We'll look at creating notes, characters, how characters can be copied across the books, and as well as places, tags, and the rest. So I hope you'll follow along and learn how to use Plottr to create a series Bible and outlines for your books. And again, if you want to read the books, if you haven't already, links are down in the description. See you later.